Hello everyone! As you can see from the previous lesson, many microorganisms can spread and cause diseases for you and your clients if they're not properly decontaminated. The word decontamination means the removal of potentially infectious materials such as body fluids and visible debris from contaminated surfaces. As a dermapigmentation professional, you not only have a moral and professional obligation, but also legal obligations to protect your clients from harm to the health by using incorrect disinfection practices. If clients are infected or their health is harmed due to your incorrect infection control procedures, you may be found legally responsible for the infections and harm caused to their health. When I say term disinfection, that means a process of using chemicals to destroy harmful microorganisms. Contaminated equipment, needles, tools, and surfaces can spread infections from client to client, and in this lesson I will look at proper methods of decontamination, cleaning, and disinfection practices to keep you and your clients safe. I'm going to explain proper disinfection process, the process of cleaning tools and equipment, and proper use of chemicals and disinfectants. Follow the steps that I'm going to give you to keep you and your clients safe. There are two main methods of decontamination. Method one is used for all non-porous surfaces in your facilities. It is used to destroy all bacteria and viruses, but it's not effective against spores. Method two is used for tools that are used during the procedure and that came in the contact with bodily fluids, and it involves autoclave. That's a machine that completely destroys all viruses and bacteria and spores. All the pre-drawing and drawing pens, pencils, markers, blades, razors, needles, ink cups, or other supplies that come in contact with body fluids must be either autoclaved or single use only. Do not reuse tools that was used during dermapigmentation procedure that cannot be sterilized and cannot be put into the autoclave. Or you can use tools that are single use only. When I say to sterilize, that means to completely destroy all microbial life and spores. And in order to do that, we would use an autoclave. An autoclave is a high-pressure steam equipment that kills all the pathogens and spores. Method one that I mentioned earlier is cleaning, and after cleaning, disinfecting with an appropriate EPA-registered disinfectant. This method is very effective in controlling microorganisms on the surfaces, but it's not effective against bacterial spores. When I say EPA registered, that means registered by Environmental Protective Agency. The EPA registers all types of disinfectants used and sold in the United States. Disinfectant means a chemical product that destroys all bacteria, fungi, and viruses, but not spores on all of the surfaces. The disinfectants you use should be bactericidal, which means they're capable of killing bacteria, virucidal, which means capable of killing viruses, and fungicidal, which means capable of killing fungi. And very important is that for all of them to be effective, all disinfectants must be used according to the instructions found on the label. Mixing ratios, concentration, and contact time are very important, and if they are not used according with the instructions, they can lose their effectiveness. All EPA registered disinfectants will have contact time stated on the label. When I say contact time, that means the time that disinfectant must stay wet on the surface before being removed in order to be effective. When you shop for your disinfectant, you should choose a disinfectant that is, first, EPA registered, second, bactericidal, virucidal, and fungicidal, and shows effectiveness against HIV, hepatitis, and tuberculosis, and clearly states that on the label. Now I'm going to go through the steps that you should take when you use the first method of cleaning and disinfection. So, step 1, remove all visible dirt, debris, hair, and etc. Step 2, apply disinfecting chemical to already cleaned surface, following the instructions found on the label. Make sure to read and follow the manufacturer's label instruction carefully and exactly as directed. Make sure to apply disinfectant heavily to all of the surfaces, completely covering all the parts and allowing it to stay wet for the appropriate contact time before removing the solution. When disinfecting permanent makeup or tattoo machines and other equipment, use an EPA registered disinfectant that is specifically designed to be used on electrical tools and equipment, and follow those special directions for the use that would be found on the label. And remember that it is against federal law to use disinfecting products not according to the label. Also, you have to make sure that you always wear gloves when using disinfectant, because if you get disinfectant on your skin, you need to immediately wash it off with soap and water. Disinfectants are pesticides. That's a type of a poison and can cause serious skin and eye damage. Always use safety measures and follow manufacturing instructions that you can find on the label. So why is it so important to use a disinfectant according to the instructions? Well, if the disinfectant is not used according to manufacturer's instructions, it can become ineffective or even dangerous. And now I'm going to talk a little bit about the second method that involves cleaning and sterilizing. And this method, as I already said, is used for tools that was in contact with bodily fluids. This is the method that you would use for your reusable tools. So step 1, what you're going to do first, you're going to use a brush with soap and warm water to clean all the tools and remove all the visible debris, everything that you can see. And of course, you will be wearing gloves during this process. And as a step 2, you will use an autoclave for the already pre-cleaned tools. And make sure that you use the autoclave according to manufacturer's instructions. And I want to talk a little bit about the autoclave. What is an autoclave? Autoclave is a high-pressure steam equipment that kills all the pathogens, including spores. And it is important to use the autoclave correctly. Use regular maintenance and do regular testing to ensure that it is in a good working condition. Because the color indicator strips that you use on autoclaved bags can provide false reading. So they should not be used as an indicator of whether the instruments have been sterilized. And those stripes can only indicate that the autoclave is working, but they cannot tell you if the autoclave is working properly or not. The Center of Disease Control, CDC, requires autoclaves to be tested weekly to ensure that they are working properly. The autoclaves are tested by performing a spore test, which what happens is a sealed package that contains test organisms are sterilized in autoclave using a regular cycle and then sent to laboratory that specializes in spore testing. And you can simply do that by researching on the internet, and you can find laboratories that do the spore testing. The autoclave must also have a regular maintenance to ensure that it reaches the correct pressure and correct temperatures. Because if the autoclave is not working properly, it will not only not kill all the pathogens, it will create a perfect warm environment for the growth and replication of bacteria. The dermapigmentation clinic must follow the manufacturer's recommendations to properly care for the autoclave, service, change water, replace parts, perform scheduled maintenance. And you must keep the logbook for usage and testing and maintenance to show during the inspections of your clinic. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in our next lesson.